Big mistake. Huge. You're a failure. You couldn't make it. You wanted to be a big fish in a big pond. So now you're going to scurry off to Florida, Texas, Nevada, and be a small fish in a big pond. Probably a medium-sized fish. You couldn't make it. You phony, you fraud, you failure. Shame, shame, shame. Unbelievable. You don't want to give your money to California. Stick it out. Things are going to get better. I'm being facetious. Absolutely. But maybe there's other angles why you shouldn't leave. I just talked to a friend last week and convinced him to stay. I get it. You got a $100 million company. You can save 13 million bucks. You can reinvest in operating expenses and pay employees more money. Hire more employees, office expenses. You can buy more pencils, R&D. You can maybe get a few sports cars for your parking lot. I get it. It makes 100% sense. You know, and the reasons to leave are plentiful. Trust me. I've heard them. But I just wanted you to think about this from another angle. Let's say you got a job in Austin. Everyone wants to move to Austin. I lived there 3 years. And you got a $100,000 job offer there. You got a $100,000 job offer in LA, and you want to buy $1 million house. How much money are you going to save by living in Texas? Let's just talk about that. Something else to think about. And I'm sure you already thought about it, but I just want to put it out on the airwaves. So what are the reasons to leave? They're plentiful, I know. High taxes, highest income state taxes in the country, 13.3%. Some of the highest regulations in the country, some of the highest cost of living in the country. And the bottom line is, California is a big nanny state. Politically speaking, everything comes from San Francisco, how this state is run. And everything trickles down from San Francisco. I mean, we're not just talking income taxes, gas taxes, sales taxes, hidden taxes. And the hidden taxes, if you know where to look, just blow you away. They're incredible. Look at those hidden taxes. I mean, the failed state of California is bleeding so much money, they're going to lose a House seat and an electoral vote. That's how much money they're bleeding. I mean, so much expenditure, pension liabilities, infrastructure issues. It's incredible. And, you know, California is a woke state. And God forbid you say anything and hurt anyone's feelings. And that's another conversation for another day. So you got to be woke. Absolutely. Between July 1st in 2019 and July 1st, 2020, net gain of only 21,200 people. That's 0.05% growth, worst rate in 120 years. Worst rate in 120 years. LA County alone lost 40,036 people. 2020 full year loss, 135,600 left. That's the third year in a row of net migration loss. A lot of these people were on the lower end of the scale of middle class. Yes, California has the largest population in the country, LA County. Keep that in mind. But 3 years of net migration loss, and in 2020, you're seeing a lot of companies, business services companies leave that are taking six-figure jobs with them. But I would argue, yes, you're hollowing out, you're hollowing out the middle class, and I would argue there's never been a middle class. That's just a name guys came up with it when they were drinking scotch around the table to make people feel good. There's always been the haves and the haves-mores and a pauper clerical class that's just expanding. And middle-class jobs have left the business services. You talk about Toyota, McKinsey, Nissan, Parsons, Jacobs, Mitsubishi, Tesla, SpaceX moving operations, some of their operations, Charles Schwab, Oracle, Larry Ellison hanging out on his island in Hawaii, just said he's bugging out his operations to Texas. So a lot of those jobs are leaving, and those are good paying jobs. 100%. You still have Silicon Valley, you have Silicon Valley 2.0 and Playa Vista, but you're going to have nothing in the middle. You're going to have super poor that's going to be expanding in California, and ultra elite, the haves and the haves-mores with all the cake, and it's just going to shrink the middle class. And I don't think that's healthy for an overall economy, 100%. When I recap the summary, we'll talk about that. So let's go back to the example. You're going to save money moving to Texas? Now remember, you're still paying federal taxes. You're still paying Social Security. You're still paying Medicare. And your property taxes are higher in Texas. Now, the income tax is 0% in Texas. Sales tax is 6.25. Property tax is $1,993 per 100,000. That's a killer. That is a gut shot. California is 13.3%. sales tax 9.5, and property tax is 841 per 100,000. So you want to buy that $1 million house. It's going to cost you in Texas, property taxes on an annualized basis, $23,916. California, it's going to cost you $10,092. That's a difference of $13,824 more in Texas. So on a monthly basis, that's $1,152 more per month in Texas. So you take that $100,000 salary in California, it's for state income tax, it's about $6,026.14 per year. Monthly, that equals $502.18. So your take home on average, don't consider buying a house, is $70,358.87 in California, and it's $77,246.50 in Texas. So $502 a month, 18 in California, income tax. You got $1,152 or more a month in Texas. Subtract that $502.18 from $1,152, you're still running $600 plus more in Texas to live. Now, gas, Tim, food, I get it. Factor that in, you got $600 to play with a month. If you know where to shop, know where to get your gas. Okay, let's say it's even, or you got a little advantage in California. I know I do. Does it make sense to move? Well, Tim, I can get a bigger house in Austin. Yes, you can. Keep in mind, Austin's not cheap. Someone just bought a $13, $14 million house who's a podcaster. Lake Austin, Terrytown, all these places, and we bought a rental property in Austin. It's not cheap. You go on the outskirts, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, you get a beautiful house, $400,000 or $500,000 in the sticks, if that's what you want. I lived in the city, dead center, in a dumpy studio for $2,400 a month. In that building, rents went up to $7,000 a month. Austin's not cheap, and it's a woke city right now. You leave California and you want to get away from the policies, go to Austin. It's like you never left California. And I would just say politically, don't focus on a candidate like Biden, Trump, Bill Clinton, how you feel about them personally. You don't have to sit with them at your dinner table. You don't have to sleep with those people. It matters politically, what are their policies? You're leaving California because you're upset with the taxes and all the policies of California. Well, who's in control of the government in California? Then you're going to Texas, that's a red state overall, because you're happy with their policies. So I'm not a political person, but I look at the policies of the most aligned with my values, and I do believe in low taxes and free market and entrepreneurship. And you have to focus on the policies and not get caught up in someone's Twitter or what they're doing. Or I don't care what Bill Clinton did personally. I don't have to have dinner with Bill. I care about my pocketbook when I have dinner with my family around the table, and who's going to help me with my pocketbook and leave me alone, let me live the life I want to live. And so, I see both sides of the fence, and there's policies I like on both sides, but focus on the policies of how it's going to affect your bank book and your life personally. So, like I said, you're going to take home 70 grand in LA. You're going to take home 77 in Texas, but you factor in the property taxes, it evens out. And yes, you can get a bigger house in the state of Texas. Just depends, where you want to live. Now, you look at Nevada, it's $693 per 100K. I have a house in Nevada. And due to what's going on right now, will I spend more time there because I work in real estate and I'm doing 4 other things for revenue streams? Yes, I probably will. I have residency, and I will probably in 2021 go full-time in Las Vegas and spend part of my time in Los Angeles. So what are the reasons to stay? The topography, the most beautiful topography in the United States. That's all I can think of. What is it? Oh, you got the beaches, beautiful people, great restaurants. It's just beautiful. You go up Santa Barbara, PCH, you got God's country, you got the mountains, you got the water on the other side. Absolutely 100%. And I will say this. What I love about California is I can go downtown LA and I know where the hole-in-wall bars are that I love to go to. And then I can go to an after-hours warehouse party that I know about because of the underground scene. And if I want to go to Palm Springs, I can jet to Palm Springs. I love Palm Springs. Every 8 weeks, I go to Big Bear. I love Big Bear. Nowhere else in the country can you do that. And I don't have any kids right now. Maybe down the road, if I do, with the school system, if you can afford private schools, there's things you can do for your kids out here. Is it the best place to raise kids? That's an argument you can have. I don't want to get into that right now. But nowhere else in the country do they have the topography and the things you can do that fits my personality. Okay, I lived in Austin. I was on one side of the city, the other. Literally, you can do it in 5 minutes. And the traffic is terrible in Austin with the 35 freeway. I got in a traffic jam for an hour and a half just to go 2 miles in rush hour. So if you think the traffic is great and all that stuff, no. Great food, great barbecue, great restaurants, but the food in LA is awesome too. It's awesome. You got a company, you got to think about your business. Absolutely 100%. You can forget about the topography and you can go visit LA anytime you want. So I do see that. And if I have a family and things change, maybe I'll make that change. But I love those things about California. I love the melting pot of it. I love that I have friends from all different backgrounds. And I love that about California. I didn't have that feeling in Austin, Texas. It was just really small for my brain. I couldn't handle it. I would say this: there's a lot of 80% of people in the United States have never had their passport stamped. They don't travel the world. If you think California is the best place in the world, you're on crack. There's so many beautiful places in the world. I lived in Europe for 3 years. I traveled the world. We have a rental property in Ibiza. Okay, so Ibiza, 2.5 million on the Mediterranean, built into a cliff. Awesome lot, pool, everything. Or I can buy a piece of property in Manhattan Beach, 3 miles from the beach, or let's say 3 blocks from the beach for 5 million. But someone will say, well, Tim, it's not California. Yes, Ibiza, when you factor in the mountains, the traveling, going to Big Bear, going skiing, all that, you don't have that in Ibiza. That's what makes California unique. But Ibiza, Mallorca, Bermuda, the south of Spain, I mean, I go on and on. There's so many beautiful places in the world. It's not just about California. So this property is gorgeous in Ibiza. And I could live there, and especially now with the economy and COVID, you can work from almost anywhere, some professions. So when you travel around the world and you see what's out there and the beauty, California is not the only place. I agree 100%. But when you factor in hiking, skiing, Palm Springs, Las Vegas, everything's right there for you in California. If you like to do that stuff. I like to do that stuff right now. That might change. So the only place is not California. In the United States, it's the best place to live as far as activities, topography. Traffic's a pain in the ass, but depending, you just park yourself where you want to do your activities, and it's a wonderful city to live in. So to recap, should the government be the arbitrator of all laws or a free market system? That's the key. I see both sides. I believe government should have some controls, but I don't want everyone running my life. There needs to be a better balance in California. And we have politicians, legislatures that believe in big government, social programs, and it's causing the state to fail. You need to go more towards the middle and have a balance of more free market entrepreneurship. I'm an entrepreneur. I got many irons in the fire that I'm trying to make work, and I love when something fails. I get back up and try something else. And they're making it very difficult for me to do certain things I want to do in this state. And that's why I might have to be creative with where I live. And I'm working on that. Like I said, we have property in Las Vegas. I might be living there full time and then working part of my time in California. Is democracy in general is dependent on the middle class, in my opinion. You can't have everyone dependent on the state. I believe that. You can't have everyone dependent on the state. You got to have a healthy middle class. I don't know if it's too far gone right now. I'm worried about that. But we can't just have a super class that's dependent on the government, getting universal basic income, and have an elite class that are living the dream. I believe there should be more for the pie of the people. And the people that started this country, trust me, are still running it. It ain't the president of the United States. You think things are going to change dramatically? Get ready. I mean, the way things work, if you understand the system of the presidency and the most powerful people who started this country, if you don't think those people still don't have their hands in the till, you better wake up. So, just going to have a rich class and a clerical pauper class. That's the concern going forward. And the bottom line is, Southern California is a paradise spoiled by terrible public policy. And that's the key. And the public policy to you people that want to leave, I understand, is getting a little extreme. And when you got to give 40% of your money if you're running a business and half your income away, it's just not fair. I work hard for my money. I'm sure you work hard for your money. And I'm considering some things. But I just wanted you to look at it from that perspective. I know you'll say, hey, we'll get a bigger house in the state of Texas, which you probably will, depending where your topography is. If you want to live, like I said, inside Austin city limits, it's not cheap. So really break it down, your monthly expenses. I'll include some links in the description that I use to look at state-by-state taxes, monthly expenses, and some really good websites for that. So take care, think things through. Oh, shit.